got you one. There it is. Welcome back to another day of working on our P38 Range Rover. Today's all about servicing. First things first, brakes. If you missed our test drive video, definitely go check it out because you'll see why these things desperately need changing. And of course, in keeping with the fact this thing sat for over 7 years, as you can see, things are a little bit stuck and giving Jack a bit of a hard time.
Yeah.
Now that Jack's got the wheel off, we can really have a look at these brakes. And it's no wonder they felt so awful on our test drive. I mean, look at the state of that rotor. This thing's gonna feel so much nicer with this job done. This is the first Range Rover we've ever owned, and being fans of Land Rover for quite some time, it feels really great to be breathing some life back into this old icon. Seems like the P38 Range Rover in particular gets a bit of a bad rap, but is kind of underrated. We're really hoping this thing doesn't end up proving that wrong one day. That earlier comment about things being stuck after sitting for so long, turns out that was foreshadowing for how this whole brake job was gonna go.
Holy. That pin is seized, man. That's a slide pin I can't get to move. Oh, it's already loose. Perfect. She's really on there. Got any more deep creep?
At this point, Jack was trying just about anything he could to get this slide pin out. Heat, hammering, compressing it in the vise, and all number of combinations of those things to try and get this thing to budge. Eventually though, after much effort, this thing did start to move and he eventually was able to get it out.
This is turning into quite a bit more than I anticipated, but that's okay. So I got those pins, that pin out, as you saw, and we got some anti-seize up in there and all that kind of thing. I was gonna buy new pins. I thought about buying new pins, and then I didn't buy new pins, and I kind of wish I did, but we got what we have, so we're gonna make it work. I did, however, as you saw, buy the new rubbers and the new hardware, so let's get that installed. Chicken bacon ranch wrap, please, and a double. Okay, we got the new rubbers on there. Feeling pretty smooth. Let's get these back on the truck. I just realized we haven't put the rotor on yet, so there's no point in doing all this. So let's put the rotor on. This one corner has taken me about 5 hours of work to do. So because of that, I am not gonna show you every single corner of redoing the brakes on this thing. I'm not gonna make you guys suffer through that. Let's move on to some other things.
Nice.
Not recommended. Don't drop your wrench into oil. Don't recommend. Heather,
Yeah.
would you mind getting me a rag, please? Previous owner, if you haven't seen the other episodes, previous owner said that he only drove this thing for 2 months after buying it from a small dealership. So I'm assuming they did the service on it. At least did an oil change. Wow, that's a really long drain plug. Okay. Oh, there we go. I don't know, that's pretty black oil. Okay, so looking at the drain plug here, there's no grime on it. There's no metal shavings. So that's a really good sign. Okay, let's try and get this filter off of here without making too much of a mess here. This is just a normal paper filament, so I just wanted to see what kind of gunk is in there. It's not bad. It's kind of grimy. It's kind of rough, but I don't see any chunks. Yeah, there's a little bit of sludge there. That's what we get a new filter for. I ended up going with the Castrol Edge Eurocar specific. The information I read online said 5W40 was the way to go, and this one being for European cars specifically. This is what I had available, so this is what I want. Oh, wow. That cracked a lot easier than I expected, so that's a good thing. Ready? Ooh. We got the drain plug back in. Let's put some fluids in this thing. There's a specific procedure to refill it using a pump. So, let's start doing that, I guess. And my research says about 2 liters. So I just spent the last 15 minutes crawling around under this thing, trying to find the inline fuel filter, only to find out that it doesn't have an inline fuel filter on the later model. It's built into the tank. That's one less job we have to do, so as far as I'm concerned, that's a win. I'd say this filter needs to be replaced. Good thing we got one.
Next on the servicing agenda was to give this thing a proper coolant flush. We bought this thing with a suspected head gasket issue, and we spent a lot of time trying to diagnose that, and at the time we used whatever coolant we had on hand. But now it's time to get rid of that, give it a good flush, and fill it up with the proper coolant. The engine in this P38 Range Rover calls for a 50-50 mix of OAT, or Organic Acid Technology coolant, which is what Jack's mixing up here.
Haven't put the plug in the bottom of the radiator. Okay, plugged in. So I picked up one of these. This is a scan gauge tool, and this was recommended so that we can accurately figure out the data, the live data, and more importantly, the live temperature that the engine is reading. Because as we explained in the previous video, that gauge is not actually accurate. So this is going to help us big time. Okay, so I've got the scan gauge all hooked up here. Let's fire it up.
So as Jack mentioned, the temperature gauge in these Range Rovers isn't super accurate. Once the vehicle reaches operating temperature, the needle's designed to sit nicely in the middle, and this is to prevent driver panic. Unfortunately, once the needle does start to move into that 3/4 and into the red position, it's kind of too late and the vehicle's already overheated. That's why this gauge is so highly recommended, as it gives you an accurate, real-time temperature reading. Now that everything's filled up and the engine's running, Jack's just poking around making sure there's nothing leaking. You can see some old green coolant there that's just left over from the flush, and so far everything's looking okay. Perhaps a bit tricky to see with all that water there if anything's leaking, but you get the idea.
Okay, it's reached 208 now. It's fairly hot. I'm going to check the fans. See if these fans are running. Those fans are running. Sorry, there's not a better way to show you. I could put this shroud back on, that might help a little bit. See, that gauge really hasn't moved. Right? I don't know. 225. 226. Okay, shutting her down. Okay, we've got some smoking. Can't really tell where that's coming from. Like maybe some oil. I think it's just drip. There you go. I think it's dripping on the valve. Valve cover's dripping on the header.
Jack's getting that shroud back on there to ensure that the fan is directing all of the air where it should be to keep this thing as cool as possible. Now with that temperature creeping up just idling, there's some things we need to consider here. One of which is this clutch fan working properly? The clutch itself could be not turning the fan as quickly as it should. The fan itself had a damaged fin. Maybe the radiator is flowing okay with the hose, but there's not enough pressure to make it flow through properly unless it's driving. Maybe we've got an airlock we didn't realize we had. There's so many things that this could be, and we're kind of at a loss right now. And in the back of our heads, we have those cylinder liners as a possible suspect, and we're desperately trying to find reasons for this thing overheating that isn't that.
You guys probably noticed that Heather isn't in this video this week. And that's because she's feeling a little under the weather. So I kind of jumped in and got the majority of the work done. This isn't how we saw this video going. Obviously, we still have overheating issues. And at this point, I don't know what else to do. So if any P38 gurus out there are watching this and have any idea what to do next, please, please, please drop a comment and let us know where we're going wrong. We read every comment that you guys leave, and we appreciate them so much, and they help a lot. And while trying not to get stung by a massive swarm of wasps that are nesting up there, we just want to let you guys know that we have a couple of other projects in the works for the channel. So we're going to be a little busy for the next week. We are going to skip next week's video, so that means we'll have another video out for you guys in 2 weeks' time. Please remember, if you like this video, definitely hit that thumbs up button and drop a comment, because it really helps the channel out, and we can keep making these videos for you guys. Until next time, later.